I specifically chose moves where the heels can be beneficial. So whether it's adding weight for certain exercises and certain positions where we want to build strength, or to give us a handle, something to hold on to, or something to use to give us a little bit of an extra advantage in our flexibility.
3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Hey there, my flexi felines. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. It's going to be a flexibility class, so a yoga class, but with our heels. So this is going to be an exotic yoga class. We're going to spend most of our time on the ground, seated or lying down, playing with different movements. First, we're going to warm up with some movements, a little bit of strengthening, and then we're going to get right into the flexibility yoga poses, holding them, breathing into them, and building flexibility. Now, the reason why we're going to be doing it with our heels, you will see that the heels will actually help us in a lot of the movements. I specifically chose moves where the heels can be beneficial. So whether it's adding weight for certain exercises and certain positions where we want to build strength, or to give us a handle, something to hold on to, or something to use to give us a little bit of an extra advantage in our flexibility. So we're going to start with a little bit of warming up. We're going to warm up the joints. We want to get the synovial fluid within the joints moving around, getting nice and lubricated so that we're not going to strain ourselves when we're doing the movements. So we're starting with just some wrist circles. Go one way and then a few the other way. Now, as we're doing this, we're already thinking about our posture. So pulling our shoulders down and back, keeping our abs tucked in, breathing through the belly, and trying to keep a nice straight back with a neutral spine during the exercises. I'm going to place my wrists together and roll through, making circles, keeping my wrists connected the whole way around, and then reversing it the other way. All right, going into the elbows, I'm going to give support under one joint as I circle my arm and the other way. So even though this is an elbow flexion and extension, the rotation actually comes from my shoulder. So I am actually warming up the shoulder as well. Let's do the other side. So any circular movement in the elbows and the knees are actually coming from the shoulders and the hips. We can only have flexion and extension in our elbows. Let's move on to the shoulders. Big rolls. You can start this slowly, feeling the maximum extension as it gets more and more. So I want to feel like I'm going up towards my ears, pulling back, squeezing my shoulder blades together, coming down nice and low as if I'm pushing towards the ground, and then nice and forward and connecting those dots. And then the other way around, forward. Same movement, same full extension, coming all the way around. If you feel any kind of pain or discomfort, make it a smaller movement. Go with what feels good for your body. Let's come into the neck. So I'm going to tilt my head from the right to the left, moving slowly and with intention, being aware of my breath. Now we're going to look up and down. Now be careful of your neck here. When you look up, you don't have to go back all the way. If it causes any kind of strain, you can look slightly up and all the way down. If you feel comfortable going further, you can. Chin to the chest and up. And now we're going to rotate, so from ear to the shoulder, coming down to the other side. And again, make these as big as you'd like. If it's not comfortable, you can make it a smaller, less of a bend in the movement. Same thing in the back. Keep it very small unless you feel super comfortable to lean back further. Be very slow in the movement so as not to strain our neck. Good. I always like to do a big shoulder roll back to reset the body. We're going to come into the chest, lifting forward and coming to neutral. Lift, neutral, and then right to left. Circle it around clockwise. and then counterclockwise. Good. From here, we're going to twist our body so we can come up onto our knees. You can open up the legs a little bit wider. Feet could come together to make a nice triangle of support in the back. And from here, we're going to do a gentle twist. So rotating, looking behind us, and then the other way. Exhale as you look back. Inhale as you return. All right, from here, we're going to bring one hand onto our thigh, extend up, and then the other side, hand on the thigh, extend up. Now I can bring my hand to the ground and keep my outside arm extended for a variation. Make sure to keep the shoulders open and pushing back. A common error is to bring our arm forward here. We really want to open up. So if I'm looking up, I see well in front of my shoulder. I come here, look up in front of the shoulder. Very nice. Hands on the hips, rotate around. And in reverse. Good. Sit it down. Bringing our legs forward. We're going to start working on the knees. So I'm going to lean back all the way onto my back. And from here, I'm going to bring one leg up, bending and extending at the knee. Now I can give support, or I can keep my arms down on my side. Holding it up, rotating the ankle. Other way. Come down, lift the other leg up. Bend and extend at the knee. Exhaling with the extension, inhaling as we come down. Hold it up, rotate at the ankle. A few one way, a few the other way. And come down. Good. So from here, we're going to get right away into some strengthening, focusing on our hips. So we want to strengthen this area, our hip flexors. Super important for pole dance, for flexibility in general, for all kinds of dance, all kinds of strength training. Honestly, we really want to strengthen those hip flexors, and it's an area that is way too often neglected. So we're going to do a little exercise, and the boots or your heels are going to actually make this exercise a little bit tougher because they add weight. So now, if it's too much, what I'm going to ask you to do is to keep your knee slightly bent. So just the tip of your heel is touching the ground. If you're able to do it with a leg extended, keep it extended. I want to place my legs in a V with about a 90-degree angle in between them. Okay, so if I could draw a diamond here, it would make a square in between my legs. That's about 90 degrees where I want to be. From here, I'm going to keep my chest up, rotate my shoulders towards the leg that I want to lift. I'll place my fingertips on the ground on either side of my knee. The more forward I go, the harder this exercise becomes. The further back I sit, the easier it should be. So judge based on how you feel. What I don't want is you to be leaning back as you do it. Try to keep your body relatively upright. So from here, we're going to lift our leg up, pointing our toe, and come down with control as we exhale. Just like that. If it's too much, try bending the knee a little bit and then bringing your knee towards the shoulder as you lift. That should make it a little bit easier. If you can do it with a straight leg, keep the leg straight. You can reset after each repetition to make sure the back is nice and straight. We're going to go for 10. Don't be shy to reset the body. And 10, hold it. 3, 2, 1, and down slow. Woo! Jiggle it out, side to side. Loosen up that hip. You may have felt it as well in your quads. That's normal. The quads tend to take over and help out. Try to focus on the hip flexor. squeezing the core to take the pressure off of the quad as much as possible. Let's move to the other leg. Chest up, shoulders back, fingertips planted, and we lift. Again, take time to reset. And shake it out. Oh, I forgot to do the hold. Let's lift and hold. 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah. Oh, it hurts so good. Shake them out. Punch out those quads if they're feeling tight. Now, the last one is actually the harder version. We're going to lift both legs at the same time. So to do this, I'm going to place my hands in the center, still pushing into my fingertips or into my palms. Whatever I need to keep my body straight. That's why I like to use just the tips of the fingers, because that helps me to push my chest forward and keep my back neutral. Point those toes and we lift. You can do it with bent knees if you like. Let's go. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I feel the burn. You feel free to take breaks. Shake it out. That was 4. Let's go again. Oh, that was 8. 2 more to go, and then we hold for 3 seconds. Let's go. Hold. 2, 1. Oh, came down a little bit fast, but you want to ease it down if you can. These boots, they really add another level to that training. Punch it out. Give yourself a little massage if you need to in those quads, if they were firing up. All right, very nice. Now from here, we're going to bring our legs together and do an exercise that's actually more for the core than for the hip flexors, but we want to wake up our core and have it nice and ready to be engaged as we're doing our flexibility exercises. So we're going to add in this movement. Similar to the other one, my hands will go on either side, and I'm going to lift up my legs and come down slow. Now, this won't target those hip flexors because my legs aren't open. May a little bit, but really the focus is now in the abdominals. Our anterior abdominal muscles, the ones in the front, are going to tighten up to help us lift. So feel that squeeze as you exhale. Whew, that was 5. Let's do another 5. Oh, and we'll do a hold. Clack your heels. Is the workout over yet? A hold for 5 seconds. And down slow. Whew. All right, we're gonna open up our legs a little bit into butterfly position. Now, heels butterfly is a little bit wider. Don't worry about it. And just shake it out to loosen up those hips and those quads. Keep that chest nice and open and pulling the knees towards the ground with every shake. Good. Extend the legs out, back, and here we are. So from here, we're going to start our flexibility training. We'll start in this position and we're going to switch from one pose to the other. We're going to start with our legs a little bit wider than before, but still not super wide, not anywhere close to our maximum. Just kind of opening them a little bit, maybe past that 90-degree angle, but 90 degrees is okay too if that's what feels all right for you. It shouldn't feel straining or strenuous at this point just yet. From here, we're gonna do a nice side stretch, opening up our obliques. I'm gonna take one hand, reaching down and under, bringing my other arm nice and high, and reaching towards my knee. Looking past my elbow, get nice and low, and just breathe into it. Slowly, always moving slowly to come out of the stretch. We come back to this neutral position and then we go down the other way. Remember to keep that shoulder nice and open, looking up. And coming back to neutral, placing our hands one on each leg. We're going to start to lean forward, stretching out those hip flexors that we just worked. So here, I can use the laces, if you have laces on your shoes, or just working your hands down little by little. So I'm trying to kind of go from one lace to the next with my fingertips as I hinge forward, leading with my belly and my chest. I'm not thinking about getting my head to the ground, rather getting my belly to the ground is the key here. And I'm going to keep my eyes forward. If I feel a tightness, I'm going to hold it there, take a few deep breaths, and start to go deeper. Now, with every inhale, I can hold my position, and on the exhale is where I want to start to push a little bit lower, even if it's just a millimeter at a time. So deep inhale, hold it. As we exhale, try to make it to the next lace, or a little bit, an inch forward, or even a centimeter or a millimeter is good. Push the chest forward, push the belly forward. Head facing forward. Our neck stays like this the whole way through. In the end, our chin will be what will hit the ground from our head. Pull those shoulders back. Belly touching the ground, chest touching the ground, pushing those hips back. Chin comes down last for our pancake. Go as low as you can, but don't push it. We don't want to feel pain. Keep the muscles in the legs tight. Keep pulling those shoulders down and back. And to come up, we're going to come up as slowly as we went down. Stay maybe a few more breaths. Keep pushing that chest forward. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands little by little up the leg. Lift the chin off the ground, pushing the chest forward. Come up. Very slow and controlled. Still breathing. You can use the ground next to you if you need to for your hands. And slowly make it back up to here. Once we've reached this position, don't rush to bring your legs in. Bring your hands on the outside of each leg, and without any help from your hands, we're going to pull our legs together in the center. Slide them in. Whew, that feels good. Once you reach the middle, you can play with bending and extending slightly, one knee at a time, opening up a little bit and shaking out side to side. Great. Reopening up those legs, we're going to bend one leg in, bringing our heel just to where it's almost touching our thigh, and opening up the back, pulling the shoulders down. We're going to repeat that side bend that we did earlier, this time with one leg bent, and we're going to try to take it a little bit deeper now that we've stretched out our hips with our pancake. So I'm going to place one arm on my knee. It's the opposite arm to that knee. With the other arm, I'm going to come up over my head as I lean down, bending at the elbow, pulling my elbow back. Getting lower as I breathe. Try to keep your opposite hand on your knee as you breathe deeper. Don't worry about if you can reach your foot or not. Doesn't matter. If you get there, great. If not, that's fine. You're just focusing on feeling that stretch through the side as we look up in front of our elbow. If you feel your leg, feel free to grab on and pull the shoulder lower, and then again open by pushing your elbow out. Deep, slow breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Belly breath. You can start to walk your hand up your shoe towards the heel. A few more breaths. Try to pull the shoulder low. One more deep breath. And slowly bending the elbow. Keep pulling back. Slowly coming up. And releasing. Very nice. We're going to switch to the other side. So extending out this leg, bending in our other leg, just until our heel is about at our thigh. Placing the opposite hand onto our knee. Opening up our chest, shoulders, back reaching up and just hanging out as we breathe. With every exhale, pushing in a little bit deeper. Pull those shoulders low, deep breaths. Eyes up, opening the elbow. Belly breathing. And bring your hand closer to your head as you get lower. As you feel your leg, you can pull in a little bit, but really focus on opening and pulling back. Again, feel free to draw your fingers a little bit lower. Adjust as you need to. If you need to lean forward to grab, you can then open up. Look up. A few deep breaths. One more deep breath. Slowly bend that elbow, bring it back a little bit, open up more. And gently bring it back. In between every deep stretch, take a few breaths. Again, it's always nice to loosen up the shoulders, loosen up the area that was just stretched. So we just did our sides, so maybe a few twists. We're going to open up the legs, bring them together, and do a forward fold. For the forward fold, we're going to start with our chest pushing forward and trying to keep our back straight, hinging in from the hips. And keep the spine neutral or eyes forward. Grab behind the calves, push the chest forward, pull down the shoulders. Chest is leading towards the knees. Push the booty back. From here, we're going to relax our spine, drop our head, curving the back, and bringing our head down towards the knees. You can reach our arms forward, rounding the back and the shoulders. Grab in front of your heels from underneath or anywhere on the legs. Drop the head and breathe. Feel free to hold any of these stretches for longer or shorter if you feel. Ideally, we'd like to hold each pose minimum 10 seconds to retain flexibility, and more than 20 seconds ideally to add and gain flexibility. Here we're pulling apart the shoulder blades, rounding the back, dropping our head down. And slowly release to roll it up. All right, excellent. So now we're going to come to our seated position, bending one leg in and bringing up our other leg for our bird of paradise pose. So from here, I'm going to bring my hand under my ankle and I'm going to grab with my other hand on top. Now I want to wrap my fingers around and behind. I want to bring my knee up over my shoulder as far as I can. So you can use both hands to do this. Bring it nice and high and try to pull the chest in and around. Reaching with a hand like I just did, forward and then opening will help as well to get deeper. Now that I'm here, I'm going to start to extend my leg, but first I want to take this hand and place it on the ground to give me more stability. Now from here, as I open, I want to look through. If you prefer, you can grab your heel or you can grab around the ankle. Start to open and peek your head through. Open the chest to the side and keep extending. Now it might feel very tight, so take your time. And breathe as you slowly extend. Keep your balance through your grounded leg and your hand that's planted. Once you have full extension in the knee, make sure to be pointing those toes. Hold and breathe and keep opening up the chest to the side. Push through your palm. Belly breath. Keep feeling that rotation with every breath. Shoulders pulling down, chest lifting. And again, very slow to come back. Start to bend the knee, gently taking our head back through our arm. Very slow bend as we come back down. You can take your other hand off the ground, grab, replace the opposite hand under. So grabbing underneath my heel. My same side arm is going to come around the knee. I can interlock my fingers here lightly, and we're just gonna loosen up with a little rocking of the baby, the proverbial heel baby / our leg. Even here, try to keep the chest open as you roll it up. Good. From here, we're gonna switch our legs. So I'm gonna place this leg on the ground, take this guy out, bring this leg in. First thing I want to do is straighten my back, then bend this leg in, grab with the same side hand and the outside hand, and start bringing that knee over my shoulder as far as I can. Already I can kind of start to turn outward. As I bring it deeper, I reach my opposite hand deep in, and again, I bring it up. Now the other option is to grab at the heel. Just be careful not to put too much pressure. We don't want to break our heels. You can also grab up here if you prefer, over here, to make it a little bit easier. If you want to make it harder, grab closer to the ankle. This makes it a tighter movement. Do what feels good for you. From here, we place our hand down for stability. Now, as I place it down, I really want to make sure I'm deep in this. So I'm going to pull one of these and place. From here, I have my stability. I start to look through as I rotate away from my grazed leg. Pop the head through. Take your time to open and breathe before extending. Keep rotating with every exhale as we slowly extend. Pressing through our grounded hand, pulling our elbow back. If you can't fully extend, that's fine. Go as far as your body will allow without pain. Hang out here all day. A few more breaths. And very slowly we start to bend and rotate back in, loosening up our grip, pulling our head through. Take your time, move slowly to come out of every deep stretch, or else you're going to hurt yourself. Gently bring out your arm, grab around the knee, other arm goes under our leg, under the heel with the elbow, gently interlocking the fingers, and we rock. Chest up, shoulders down and back. Take a few deep breaths here, slow down your breathing, relax the muscles, and release your leg down. Big shoulder roll back to reset. Feel free to loosen up, do light movements to again get the joints nice and lubricated, nice and comfortable. Just move slowly, dynamically, not explosively at this point. You want to move nice and smooth, not pushing to the limit, just kind of loosening up the strain that we just put on the body. Same thing with the legs. Feel free to bicycle. You can bicycle those legs to loosen them up. Here too, we keep our chest lifted. Excellent. So now we're going to go onto our bellies. Rolling onto my belly is a great position when I have heels for stretching, because I'm able to grab onto the heels to lift up off the ground, and we're going to do just that with our boat pose. But first, let's just do a quick quad stretch while we're here. I'm going to bring my head to the ground, and I'm going to reach back and grab onto my heels, and keeping my knees together and keeping my shoulders low, I'm going to pull gently with my fingers to bring my heels to my bum. If this is comfortable and I can go a little bit more, I can grab both heels with one hand and bring my hand around one foot, and then I can also go to the side to grab my other foot and bring it back in. Pull down, keep those knees together to feel those quads stretching. Now, the other thing that's important here is pushing our hips down towards the ground. So I don't want to be lifted like so at all. I actually want to do the inverse. I want to push down my hips. I can bring my face forward, pull my shoulders down and back, grab closer to my ankles, and drive my hips down. Now just lifting my upper body very slightly and inch my way down those ankles. Keep pulling the heels into the butt and pushing the hips forward to really feel that stretch in the quads. Gently release. 1 and 2. Take a moment here. Loosen up the legs with a few little light kicks. And now going into the boat, I'm going to open up my legs slightly and press through my hands to come up into a cobra. From here, I'm going to bend one leg in, come down slowly, bend the other leg in. Come down slowly. Bring the body back down halfway. Place my elbows down. Lift my chest. Push down through those hips, driving the hips to the ground. Pulling down my shoulders. And now I'm going to come all the way down again. This time I'm going to bend both legs as I reach back. I can open my legs to the side to make it easier to grab onto those heels. If you want, you can grab your ankles too. But the heels are a nice little handle for me here. So from here, without putting too much pressure on the pulling, I'm going to lift up and push my feet away from my hands. The more I push back with the feet, the more it's going to lift up my body. Careful not to break your heels by pulling too hard. You want to just keep gentle pressure. Focus on the breath, focus on pulling the shoulders down and back. Keeping the core tight. And again, the more pressure I put into my feet, the more it will lift up my body. Let's come down again. This time we'll try grabbing at the ankles or the front of the feet. Grabbing on, I'm going to again push into my hands with my feet to lift. Deep breaths. Push those feet into those hands. Now you can push a bit harder. And very slowly bringing it back down to the ground. Bring your feet together. Rotate slightly to the side and just let the weight of your heels pull down on the legs a little bit. Take a few deep breaths. And take one hand, put extra pressure down, and then the other one. A little bit of pressure, not much, keeping the knees together. Pulling the feet apart. Head can be forward, or even lifted to get a bit more pressure. Again, no pain. Just a little bit of a push. Slowly bring those legs together. You can do a few butt kicks. Loosen up. And come up onto the knees. From here, we're going to add a little bit of weight to our bird dog pose through our heels, and it's going to make it a little bit tricky for the balance, so take your time, breathe through it nice and slow. We're just going to do a few. I'm going to lift my opposite arm to opposite leg, trying to keep my back nice and straight. My wrists are directly under my shoulders, my knees directly under my hips. I lift the opposite arm to opposite leg, keeping my toes pointed, and I try not to raise my hip. Once I've arrived at this position, I make sure my abs are pulled in tight. I come down slow, placing my hand and my leg back down. And then we do the other side. You can come one leg up first and then the hand. Or can do both together. Hand and leg raising together. Or leg up and then hand, whichever you prefer. Same thing to come down. It doesn't have to be at the same time. Pull those shoulders low, away from the ears. Move slowly and with intention. Let's go for 2 more. Or 3. Exhale as you reach out. Inhale to come back. And last one. Good. From here, open up the knees, sit back onto your heels, and reach forward for child's pose. Pull apart the shoulder blades, push the chest down, pressing into the palms. And then we can lift our palms, pressing into the fingertips. While we're here, we'll take one arm and thread under, palm down to the ground, shoulder low. We can look in the same direction or turn our head and look in the opposite direction for a deeper stretch. Press your palm into the ground, and then you can press your other palm as well down. Let's come back to the center, back to the fingertips, and we thread our other arm through. Shoulder stays low. Come down to the ground. You can look the same way or the other way. Palms to the ground, pressing, chest pressing forward. And slowly bring it back. One more time in the center. From here, we're going to bring our knees together and come into our puppy pose. So I'm going to reach my arms forward, try to keep my hips in line with my knees as I bring my chest down to the ground. Chin is on the ground. And we press our chest downward. From here, we're going to bend the elbows, curl the back, bend in the head to unwind. Next, we're going to go into our scorpion pose. So I'm going to extend. I'll start with my left arm out to the side at a 90-degree angle to my body, pressing down through my palm, pulling my shoulder down and back. I'm going to look the opposite direction and lift my opposite leg and rotate. This hand is going to push into the ground, and if I have the flexibility, I can even extend it to go further. Lift the leg, open up the hip, reach far back with your toe. When your heel touches the ground, hold, push, keeping both shoulders down to rotate further. Right, opening up this knee as well. Hips pushing forward. Slowly, when you're ready, bring it back. turn. Extend the opposite arm out in a T. Lift the hip, rotate, open. Push with your hand, with your palm. Drive the hips forward. And open up the knee. Shoulders pulling down. Slowly bring it back. And lower the leg. Pressing up. Alright, pressing up from this position, we're going to come into our pigeon. So I can sit back, bring one leg forward, and bend it in like so. From here, I'm going to bring my hands forward and slide my knee up, and then slide the opposite leg back. So adjust yourself to where you want to be to find your nice pigeon pose. From here, I'm going to try to keep this hip down and rotate it in. I don't want to be up like so. I really want to try to turn as much as I can and square my hips. Make the body upright. And once we have a good position, my back knee is on the ground, I'm going to lean forward and let the weight of my body do the work. Take deep breaths, focus on keeping the shoulders low and away from the body. Focus. Keeping my shoulders low, focusing on pressing my chest forward and keeping my shoulders away from my ears. Take some belly breaths here. Then slowly coming up, we're going to bend our back leg. As I bend up, I can grab on to my heel. So first, just here. If you feel like you want to, you can grab onto your ankle as well. So we can stay here or move my hand onto my ankle. Rotate open. Then from here, I'm going to bring either my heel to my elbow to this level, or all the way to my plateau. Again, if you are wanting to, you can go at the ankle, or you can go up to the plateau. From here, reach across with your opposite arm, interlock, monkey grip, and we bring our elbow up, and we rotate out. Now to take the stretch to the next level, of course you can hold it here if you like. You can grab onto your heel, reaching across my body, and I like to grab like this so that I can get my other arm through. So I take my other arm out and I come under. First I'm going to grab at my wrist level and start to bring my elbows up. Once I'm here, I can reach my fingers down. Always move slowly to come out of these deep stretches. Grab onto your leg from behind and gently bring it back to the ground. Let's do the other side. Take your time to come out of this pigeon pose. Extend your leg through. Bring it back. Switch. Bring the other leg forward and under. From here, We repeat. Make sure those hips are nice and squared. Sit up tall. Hinge forward, bring your weight down onto your legs. So once again, our shoulders are low, and we're letting our body do the work, but pushing our chest actively down. That will help. Slowly coming up. Take your time, look back, bend your knee, grab onto the heel, bring it in, straighten up your body, shoulders are down, and now choose where you want to be. You can stay right here if you prefer. You can start to bend to make it tougher. You can reach and grab around the foot or around the plateau. And your arm, rotate those hips down, reach with your other arm across. Bring the elbow up, look through. To take it further, grab across the body to your heel. Bring the other arm under onto your wrist. And arch. Walk those fingers down. Take your time to come out. Re-grab behind your leg and start to extend down. Excellent. From here, lift up to slide your leg through and coming back into our all fours position. We'll just do a gentle roll down, starting with our head, following with our chest, bringing our hips down last, extending our legs and bringing them together. From here, we're going to roll onto our back by bringing one arm through and twisting. Here. Now to finish up, we're going to stretch our wrists, keeping our shoulders low, pulling down on the back of our fingers. Repeating the same thing with our palms facing down. Gentle pressure on the knuckles. Same thing on the other side. Keep those shoulders low and relaxed. Spine neutral. And reverse. Gentle rotation in the wrist. Loosen them up. Both ways. From here, we're going to take one knee into the chest and pull. You can stay right at your chest level or come slightly to the side towards the shoulder if you're able to go deeper there. From here, we extend that same leg straight up. Hands behind our thighs, chest lifted. Little ankle flexion, extension if you'd like. Also feel free to go from right to left. Then bend the knee, bend your opposite leg. Here we're going to keep our ankle flexed on our leg that's crossing over. We thread the needle through, grab onto our thigh, and pull in. Focus on mentally pushing this knee open. So we don't want to be up here, we want to push it out. Keeping our shoulders relaxed, chest lifted. From here, to take the stretch to the next level, we can grab onto our foot or our heel and place our other hand under our calf. Extend out and hold. Slowly extend, take your other leg, bend it in, knee to your chest, or slightly to the side. Keep those shoulders relaxed, few deep breaths. And extend straight up, grabbing behind the thigh. Feel free to add in those flexions and extensions in the ankle. And as well as going right to left. Bending our knee, bend the opposite leg in, grab through, shoulders down, keep your foot flexed, the one that's on the knee, and press open in the hip. Again, we can add to the stretch by grabbing our leg and our foot and then extending the opposite leg down. And release. Before we finish, we're going to end with a little happy baby, exotic happy baby pose. Bending our knees in, grabbing on to our heels, and opening up. Feel free to rock around here, move, play, explore. You can grab onto different areas of your foot or grab on in different ways. See what feels good and play with it. Feel free, just like a real happy baby, exploring movement. And then slowly relax your legs back to an extended position. And just loosen up the body here. Just loosen up the body for Shavasana. Take some deep breaths. Reconnecting with the breath, reconnecting with the body. Maybe scan any sensations that are felt from the crown of the head down to the tips of the toes. Noting our breath. Noticing any sensations as we scan down the body. And stay here as long as you like. When you're ready to get up, turn over to one side. Press gently off the ground. And come back to the seated position. I really hope that you enjoyed this exotic yoga class. It's something that I'd like to do more of, so let me know in the comments if it's something that you enjoyed and it's something that you would like to do more of. And I'll catch you later. Keep making those flexibility gains and have fun, my flexi felines.